Rev up your engines. Now Lexuses, they're luxury cars, they're quiet. Well, this one isn't that quiet. It's making a humming noise that's driving the owner crazy. He bought it used a couple of years ago. Now it's got about 200,000 miles on it, and it's making a noise, so we're going to take it for a ride, listen to the noise, and then figure out what it is. Now we're driving around, you can hear, other than people's jackets rustling, it's a really quiet car normally. We can hear humming noise, so we're twirling right and twirling left. And the noise doesn't seem to change. Man, the car's got about 200,000 miles, still runs like a top. Other than that, annoying sound. So here we go to our little drag strip now. We definitely hear the noise. I want to see how it goes going 50, 60. Then we'll start analyzing the noise with my little noise listening machine. Now we can definitely hear it. Now as we speed up, we'll see what it sounds like. Now, it's not dramatically changing. If it was a wheel bearing, of course, the wheel's spinning faster and the noise would be faster. The noise is pretty much a continuous type noise. We'll listen in the back. Doesn't seem to make that much difference, so we're gonna go back and we're gonna hook up our noise machine and figure out what's making this noise. Now, noises can be real stinkers because sound travels. And I don't know how many times people would tell me, oh, I know it's the right front wheel bearing. And then it turned out it was the left rear wheel bearing. So you never really know. You've got to pinpoint it. Now here's the trick we're going to go when there's nobody around. We're going to put it in neutral, going about 40 and see what happens. The noise is exactly the same. It hasn't changed at all. Now actually for him, that's pretty good news. That means it's probably not in the transmission, because you shift the transmission into neutral, you're no longer in the gears driving the car. Say it was a gear going out in the transmission or a bearing, the noise would change putting it. It didn't change at all. So as my wild guess so far, I'm thinking right rear wheel bearing. Some more evidence that might show it is this wheel bearing, because a while back his daughter hit something with it, right? And if it hit this, it certainly hit some of this. And you know, I think that was a while ago, but wheel bearings, all they take is a good whack and they could be off just a thousandth of an inch or even less. As you're driving down the road, it starts wearing them unevenly, then they start to make noise, sometimes even years later. So, the notch down here, you hit the notch. You live in Tennessee like this, no problem. Now, if you live up north, you might find the notch has rotted away. Good luck finding a place to jack it up, but this one's solid, so it's not going to have any problems crunching up. Now, the first thing you do is grab it and try to pull it. This one is just starting to wear if it's making a noise, so you won't get any wobble, but as another idea, just check it out. You can see the rim. The rim's hit the curb quite a few times. That will make the wheel bearings go out. Now, as I spin it, I can hear a little bit of noise, but human ears only go so far, and the weight of the car isn't on it. A lot of times, they'll only make the noise when the weight of the car's on it, but the first thing we're going to do is ultrasonic. So I'm going to use this cool electronic stethoscope. They don't cost much. Turn it on and plug in the headphones. Then we'll go inside to the hub and see if we can hear anything. And I can hear some noise, but I like to do a thorough job. This is a cheap tool. I'm going to get an even better one. Now, this is the Marksman. It's really a ultrasonic sound detector. It's not cheap, but hey, you get what you pay for sometimes. I've got the long distance one. This is non-contact. You can find vacuum leaks, all kinds of things, but we're looking for the sound of a wheel bearing, so that's all contact. So we will put the contact one on and turn it on. And if you want to listen, there. You can hear it hissing. That's the noise it makes when nothing's happening. Now we got it on here, and unfortunately, it only makes a very light sound because there's no weight on the wheel. So, now we're going to go to plan 3. So we're going to use this auto noise detector. Got a bunch of leads. You hook them up. So as you can see, we've clamped the noise microphone as close as we can to the middle of the hub. And we got to run the wire up. We're putting the wire up the top so it doesn't touch the tire. So it's going to load it through the spring, then to the door. We'll throw that in the car. Then we'll lightly close the door. It won't hurt anything. See, now it's not going to rub. And now, as you can see, we'll put this in. We'll put in channel 1. It's channel 1. And we'll put it on channel 1 there. And yes, I hear those wheel bearings. Listen. Realize I'm not driving the car. Look, it's driving itself. It's magic, right? But a lot of times wheel bearings, when they're starting to go, will only make noise when the weight of the car is on it. That's where these handy dandy little noise meters come from. they will pick up all the sounds and you can hear them wherever you want to clamp them on. So we'll take all this stuff off. See what we do without jacking the car up. Now, unfortunately, it's pinched, so here we go, back up in the air again. It's pinched on the strut. As we jack it up, going up in the air, it should come off now. Now, the wheel bearing is built inside here, but it's not a press fit. You buy the hub assembly with the bearing in, you take the wheel off, you take the brake caliper off. Once you get the caliper off, you can get the brake rotor off. Then there's just bolts that hold the whole hub assembly in. You bolt it off, then you bolt it back in. Now, you don't have to go to the Lexus dealer to buy the hub. Many people sell the hubs. And if you're going to keep a car forever, who knows how long you're going to keep a car that's got 200,000 miles. But if you're planning on so, you can even go to Discount Auto Parts store, buy their better ones, where they'll give you a lifetime warranty. Then if it ever does go out, you just bolt it up, bolt another one on. That's all there is to it. The real problem is figuring out what the noise is coming from. We figured that out pretty fast. Let's say you put it in the neutral, the car got quieter. That'd mean it's in the transmission, because you put it in neutral, then all the gears aren't driving the car, it's just gliding. It was a good thing it wasn't that, because a transmission on one of these costs a small fortune. But they rarely go out on these things. They're really well-made transmissions, and for once my ears did not fail me, because the engine and the tranny's in the front here, right? And I could pretty much tell that noise was coming from behind me, going the back seat. You could hear it louder than you could in the front seat, and the owner agreed. They sat in the back seat and said, yeah, it's definitely coming from back here. So, realize one thing, sometimes more than one thing is wrong. You definitely know the noise is coming from the back, and as I look at the back tire, I can see the back tire has quite a few curb hits on it too. So, when he changes the one wheel bearing, that'll fix the noise, because if not, he's gonna have to change the other side too. But since that side of the car was hit, it can take years for it to wear the bearings. The bearings are solid steel. They're really strong bearings, but when they get hit, if they get bent even a thousandth of an inch, they'll be riding thousandths of an inch cockeyed, and they'll wear, then start making noise. And you notice when I jacked it up and pulled on the wheel, it had no play. A lot of people said, oh, there's nothing wrong with I jacked the wheel up, there's no play. And truthfully, I've seen people drive years that way. They're still not wobbling, freezing cold, or you're a bit short of funds this month. Something like this you could wait on. But if it does make noise, you jack it up, the wheel goes clunker, clunker. Fix it right away. Don't wait like I had a customer years ago. He said, well, I have no money, I'm gonna wait. And the next day, he's driving down the road and the hub fell off. So, you don't want to do that. But they're so easy to diagnose these days with this equipment. And strangely enough, the piece that actually diagnosed it was only 80 bucks. I didn't have to worry about the expense of $700-800 Marksman, because I can't stick my head down there and hold it on while you're driving down the road. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Well, here we go. The Chevy Bolt is being recalled for a possible fire hazard again. Only this time it's not the batteries. Believe it or not, it's the seat belts. Now, this is one of the most insane things you could ever think of. Seat belts have pre-tensioners. You know, Americans, they don't like a tight seat belt that makes them feel constrained. So our seat belts move back and forth, right? But when you hit something or slam on the brakes, there is a pendulum, and the pendulum goes down forward. It locks the seat belt in place, so you don't go through the windshield, right? Well, it turns out when you get in a wreck, these seat belt pre-tensioners can get so hot, they can emit an exhaust gas that gets so hot, it can start the carpet on fire. Who would have thought that one, you know? Now, GM so far says they've identified 3 fires that occurred because of this pre-tensioner exhaust gas got hot and started the rug on fire. And here's the fix. I mean, you want to talk about the absolute positive cheapest fix, kind of like the old Red Green show where you use duct tape to fix everything. Well, it's close to that. And here's what GM says. Chevy dealers will install a metal foil along the carpet near the pre-tensioner exhaust so it won't start on fire. Metal foil? on the carpet. I mean, it looks like crap anyways, right? I mean, they're ugly cars to begin with, but their fix is, we'll put a piece of metal foil down there so the exhaust gas can't burn it, because the foil will keep the heat from burning the rug. If you want to talk about some of the worst engineers on the planet, that's their fix. We'll put a piece of metal foil to fix it. I mean, have they thought into the future? They put a piece of metal foil there, right? Well, then the passenger's sitting there, they'll probably step on the foil with their feet and rip it into pieces too, you know? How long is that crappy fix gonna last? It's like, it's bad enough that they make half-assed cars, now they're making half-assed recall fixes for them. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.